Okay, hello guys. Today I'll talk about the perimeter and the area of quadrilaterals. Okay, so let's move into the first part about the perimeter of the quadrilaterals. Okay, so perimeter we can consider as all the side lengths around the shape. Okay, so here we can set the total distance here around the outside of the shape. That is like for a rectangle here we can find is the longer lengths, shorter lengths, and shorter lengths. Okay, that is it. So also for the units linear is centimeter and meter, okay? That is for per meter, okay? And for area, we knew that that is total shape, total space inside the boundary, okay? So we can set the unit here is square, centimeter square, or like meter square, okay? That's not very difficult about this, okay? So first is about the rectangle and the square, okay? So here we can set rectangle, here we have a y and length, okay? So the perimeter here equals to P equals to 2L plus 2W, okay? That means 2 times L plus W, okay? Then the area here means area equals to length times y, okay? That is the area. So for the square with side, we can say the area equals to square s squared and p equals to 4s, okay? That is a square because length equals to y, okay? That is it. And for parallelogram, we can say here, parallelogram that is for the base that is b and the height that is h, okay? So we can say here also use the base times the perpendicular height that is area times the height, okay? Or area equals to base times height, okay? That is it. So we can set here like for like a for like a parallelogram, for example, like b equals to 4 and h equals to 3, we can set the area right here is 4 times 3 equals to 12, okay? That is the area right here. And for trapezium, we can set the area is area equals to a half times a plus b times height, okay? That is it. And we can set here, like for the area, you can just consider it as a parallelogram, but we just like using a half of it, okay? Here's A, here's B, that is a parallelogram, but only we choose a half, okay? So that is a half times A plus B times H, okay? That is it. And for the working example right here, we can say the compound shapes right here, that the strategy first is to split the shape into different rectangles and triangles, okay? And also we can find the missing side lengths, okay? And then make a sum for all the areas, okay? So for example, like here, it said, find the area of a L-shaped room with a side 10 meter, 8 meter, 4 meter, and 3 meter, okay? So this is probably is like, for example, like a L-shaped room, like here. Okay, we have 10, 8, 4, and 3. Okay, so we can say that the area left is 10 times 8 minus 4 times 3. Okay, that is 80 minus 12 equals to 68. Okay, that is 68 meters squared. That is for the area left. Okay, and also we have some deliberate practice for you. If you want to just do it yourself, you can first pause the video and then do it yourself. But if you want to follow with me, you can keep on going, okay? So let's go into the first problem. A rectangle has an area 48 centimeters square and a width of 4 centimeter, okay? Find the perimeter. So here we can set area equals to the y times length, right? So here y is equals to 4 centimeters. So the length here equals to 48 over 4 equals to 12. That is 12 centimeter, okay? 12 centimeter. And for the perimeter here, the perimeter right here, we can set perimeter equals to the length plus width times 2, okay? That is it. So we can say that here equals to 12 plus 4 times 2, okay? That is a perimeter, okay? So here we can set 12 plus 4 equals to 16, okay? And 16 times 2 equals to 32, okay? That is a perimeter right here. And for second problem, calculate the area of a parallelogram with a base of 10 centimeter and a slant height of 7 centimeter and at an angle of 30 degree, okay? So for example, like here. So here we have an area, parallelogram here is 10 centimeter, okay? The base is 10 centimeter. And the slant height of it is 7 centimeter and at an angle of 30 degree, okay? Here it is. But now we only need to calculate like using the area equals to base times height, right? So that is 10 centimeter times 7 centimeter equals to 70 centimeter squared. Okay, that is for problem 2. Okay, and for problem 3, a trapezium has a parallel side of 8 centimeter and 12 centimeter. Okay, so here we have said maybe here the area is 50. So this is 8, this is 12. And we can say using the formula that is the base, maybe the upper base is 8 and up plus the base that is 12. Okay, then times the 8 times a half equals to 50. Okay, so here 8 plus 12 equals to 20. So 20 times 8 times a half equals to 50. And you calculate that height equals to 5 centimeter, right? That is for third problem, okay? And for last problem, a square has a perimeter of 20 centimeters. So you can say, so for each side, that is 20 centimeter over 4 equals to 5 centimeter, okay? So the area here equals to 5 square equals to 5 times 5, and it's 25 centimeter square, okay? That is for the fourth problem. Okay, so that is for today's our lesson. I hope you can understand for all of this, okay? That is about deliberate practice right here. So after this class, I hope you can do more exercises and trying to understand of this, okay? So that's all for today's our lesson. See you next time. Bye.